I've helped over 1,000 people get access to business credit. And if I can attribute that, it would be to what you're seeing on your screen right now. There's four main levers that if I was doing quick back of the napkin math, that I could typically point back at and say, that's either why they got access to business funding or why they got denied. In this video, I want to share with you, and I want to get you like inside of our mind of how I view business credit and some things that you can take from this video that you can apply in your own business so that you can either increase your ability to get access to capital or reduce your denials altogether if you keep hitting a roadblock. Now, when you're first setting up a business or when you first have a business set up, and for this video, I'm going to use the example of an LLC simply because data tells us that the majority of the people that are watching our content, that's like the structure that you have, right? So we're going to use an LLC. We're going to roll with it in this video. If you have an S Corp or a C Corp and you would love to see a breakdown just like this, let me know down in the comments and we can see how we can whip one up for you. But when we're first structuring an LLC, there's going to be a few key components that the financial institutions are going to look at that are either going to be an auto denial, or it's going to put you into a manual underwrite, or it's going to, again, open up the floodgates and get you access to the business credit that your business deserves. At the top is going to be the naming convention. The reason why I have the naming convention at the top, let me grab my my green marker if I know where I put it. You might just have to roll without it. Yeah, we'll roll without it. The reason why I have the naming convention at the top is because this is going to be the easiest place that a algorithm is going to look at without having to do any human thinking. And so with where the economy is right now, with where banking is right now, AI is taking over. And so one of the first places that AI is obviously being implemented is going to be in the banking world, just because it's one of the easiest ways that they can mitigate costs. And then also it's one of the easiest ways that they can mitigate risk with human interference. And so I say naming convention because if you haven't spent any time thinking about your name, well, it could be very well the reason why your business is getting denied altogether. There's some names and some words that you just flat out can't use inside of your business's structure. So I'll give you some off the top of my head. It could be a combination of these or just one of them. Like you can't use the word bank. The word insurance gets flagged. The word financial, the word crypto, the word exchange. All of those, and that's just like five that I've ripped off the top of my head of ones that I've had to literally sit down with clients and say, hey, we're going to have to restructure this because your business is just like living and breathing risk right now. And if there's something that we want to do is we want to lower how your business appears in terms of risk so that we can, again, increase our approval odds and get access to the business capital. One thing that I do want to say about the naming convention, so if you're just starting out, this is something that you want to spend time on, selecting the proper name. A lot of people say to go generic. Be careful going too generic. So I'll give you an example. If I'm going, if this is someone's name, like, excuse me, I just have to use it as an example. If my business is Irv Flips Homes LLC, everyone knows blatantly that's real estate. But if I go Irv's Management LLC, then that leaves like a bit of a question mark as to what the business actually does. And so some people will tell you, yeah, just make it as generic as possible, leave question marks so that the banks don't actually know what you do. But if you don't set up this next piece properly, it actually ends up shooting you in the foot in the long run. So I actually want to talk about that right now of how you can set this up properly. So let's say that we set up our business and that we decided to change the name, we decided to name it properly, but it's a bit more blanket, meaning you don't actually know by looking at the business what it actually is. So I'll use the example of, again, Irv's Management LLC. The industry classification is one of the sweetest levers that I love to pull on when it comes to helping our clients get access to business credit. The reason for that is because it's a change that if you address it properly can give you the lift that you need, not just with the bank that you're maybe trying to get approved for, but it also gives your business the lift that it needs. And I'll put it here with banks and then with contracts. And so I actually figured this out when we were working with a client who was in government contracting, that his industry classification was actually keeping him from getting the best contracts, and I'll put it here, and bids. And so you're actually getting like a 2-for-1 here where your business is classified correctly. This is going to be how your business is bucketed. This is going to be the 6-digit NAICS code, also how is also referred to. So it's the NAICS code. Now, There's a couple things that I like to do with the industry classification is this. It's one of the easiest ways that I can get myself out of a high risk classification. So if you're in a high risk business, it doesn't necessarily mean that banks won't lend you money, that you can't land government contracts. It just makes it way freaking harder. And so if we can lower that bar and make it easier for us to get access to capital, why wouldn't we? Second thing that it does is it can put me in either a low risk category or in a preferred risk category, a preferred risk industry with financial institutions. And so what's the difference? Low risk is like you're going to get more credit approvals more frequently. Preferred is like preferential treatment, where you are a preferred industry, you're a preferred client, so you get access to better terms. You get more approvals more frequently. They've rolled out the red carpet, so you get random credit limit increases. You get access to programs that wouldn't typically be televised or marketed to other business owners. So now you're fishing in a better pond with less competition, which is the name of the game when we're looking to get access to business credit lines at scale. Business location is number three. This is the third lever because you essentially have, running out a little marker here, little marker action. You essentially have three different types of addresses. You have the home address. I'll put that here. You have a physical, kind of going to run into it. And then you have a VO. So I'll just do this just for the sake of not running into too much space. You have the VO, which is the virtual office address. So business location, you have your home address, you have a physical, which is brick and mortar, and then you have a VO, which is a virtual office. Business location is something that you want to dial in with your business because if you have an address that a bank doesn't want to lend to, let's say because you are 60 miles outside of, let's say, where they're stationed, so this would be more of like a local bank play, then you're going to have two options. You either have to A, look for a different bank altogether, or B, see how you can restructure your business inside of a more bank dense populated area. One of the ways that you can do that is you can set up a virtual office address, again assuming that your industry allows for it, because not every industry in every state allows for a virtual office address. Some you'll have to use a physical, but more often than not, most people you'll be able to get away with setting up a virtual office address if you set it up properly. Or the other option is you would get yourself back into your home-based business. Again, if you are running a home-based business address. Now, this is going to vary because some people like anonymity, and I totally get it. I'm that guy. I like privacy. And so if you maybe don't want your information floating all over the web, maybe using the home-based business address may not be the play for you, but using the virtual office address is something to consider because it can put your business in a better spot, especially if you, again, are in a bank dense populated area, or if you're setting up a foreign entity and you're putting your business in another state. You're not going to move your house. You're going to just get yourself a virtual office address. And then lastly, we have the banking algorithm. And I left it for last because it's so good that if you dial everything else in, this could be the missing component keeping you from getting access to business credit. By the way, if you need help with any of this, like we help our clients set up business funding setups, we install them directly into their businesses so they can continue to get access to business capital in a predictable, sustainable way. If you want to learn more about how that works, we have it pinned as the first comment. Book a demo call. We'll deep dive into your business and see how we can help. But the banking algorithm is one of like the best kept secrets from the banking world. And the reason for that is because if you can crack this, then you'll be able to crack the doors open. Like the sky starts to crack open practically, allowing you to get access to capital, essentially, predictably, sustainably, which is what we aim for. And that's this. You have essentially two different algorithms. The first algorithm is going to be your credit. So this is for you as the business owner, and then also for your business. So those are two credit profiles, the business owner's credit profile, and then the business credit, like the business's credit profile. Like we're good there, right? The second algorithm that banks have, though, is going to be internally, because they're going to give you your own score based on the type of cash flow you have flowing in through the account and the consistency of that liquidity. What that means is if you just go blindly and you apply into a financial institution, this typically works a lot more with the bigger banks, and we're starting to see that even more now with regional banks, and you don't have any type of this. You don't have that right there. Let me see. Are we in shot? Yes, we're in shot. You don't have any cash. You don't have any mula. You don't have any dinero. And so if you don't have any cash flowing through that account, it actually ends up making your business look riskier. And so a good cat, like a good habit to get into, and a caveat that I want to put on this is don't just open up a business checking account and deposit 50 bucks. Get into the habit of having money flow through that account, especially as you're getting yourself ready. And this is something that I harp on a lot with my clients, especially as you're getting yourself ready to maybe go into a funding round, meaning you're about to apply for business capital, because this is going to make your business look like it's well positioned, it's stronger, and then also your business can withstand a tough economic time, which is what we're in right now at the time of me recording this, with everything happening in the news, everything happening in the economy. Banks are mitigating. And so if the same time last year or the same time 2 years ago, banks were approving business credit files, let's say out of every 10 applications, it was closer to 7 or 8. Now you'll be looking to see out of 10 applications, it's only 2. So 20%. So by implementing everything that I just gave you in this video, it's going to not just increase your approval odds, but it's also going to put your business in a position so that you can withstand tougher economic times. And then you can continue to get access to better credit lines, better terms, more funding consistently. And then also, if you're in the government contracting or in the bid world altogether, you'll be able to land better contracts and better bids just as a byproduct of everything working for you in your favor.